है हुसैन, रहबर की शक्ल में, रहबर की शक्ल में, अफ्कार है हुसैनी, ब्रांड मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद बुलंदर सलावत।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina al-Qasim Mustafa Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ala ali at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Nasiyana wa billahi al-azim. Jalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-sharif. I am grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being able to be here with you and remember the services of one of the great contemporary figures in the Muslim world, the late shaheed Al-Hussaini, without any doubt is one of the greatest figures in our age and century, that his life and his style of leadership made a big difference in Pakistan and other parts of the world. This is the second time that I have honor of attending this program. I remember a few years ago when the program was held in the Islamic Center, also I had the honor of speaking about him and about the concept of martyrdom and how the martyrs are living close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today I want to mention another aspect which is related to the shaheed, but also I think something important for all of us. If you remember, the late Imam Khomeini in his message after the martyrdom of Shaheed Al-Hussaini raised a very important contrast between two types of Islam. It was towards the end of the life of Imam Khomeini, and this was one occasion, and later in other occasions Imam Khomeini tried to refer to two types of Islam. And in the message for the martyrdom of Shaheed Al-Hussaini, Imam Khomeini tried to present him as a figure, as a symbol of the true Islam. What Imam Khomeini called Islam al-Nabi Muhammadi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Such important concept to this figure in the history of the Shia in Pakistan. And I think many people at that time realized how important was Shaheed Al-Hussaini. Otherwise, Imam Khomeini would not have used his martyrdom as an opportunity to raise such an important concept. You know that every religion, when it comes, it struggles with external enemies. But soon, a bigger problem starts, and that is problem caused by the people who are inside the camp. When every prophet came, he had enemies who opposed him, made mockery of him,
try to put lots of pressure on him and his followers, torture them, kill them. But when he is able to establish himself and his message, a bigger problem starts. And that is the people that now take the opportunity to present themselves as a believer, as a follower. Sometimes even they say that we are the best, but then they really distort the message of the prophets. In Islam, we see that this happened soon after the demise of the Prophet, and indeed traces of that can be found during the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Within 23 years, Islam was well established. There was no one there in Arab Peninsula and even outside to challenge Islam. But many problems, and indeed tragedies greater than tragedies caused by the pagans, were caused inside the Muslim world. By the people, they tried to impose their version of Islam on these people, and if needed, they were ready to kill them. They were ready to use sword or poison to kill them because they thought they had monopoly over Islam. And this has continued. Even today, although we have many enemies, اليوم يئس الذين كفروا من دينكم فلا تخشوهم واخشوني. Today, the pagans, those who are against religion, they have lost their hope. What does it mean, fear me? It means fear that you may do something, then as a punishment I take away the blessing of Islam from you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the late Imam Khomeini, in his message for the martyrdom of Shaheed Arif Hussaini, and then other occasions around that time, mentioned that we have to try hard to understand, to practice, and present Islam and Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Pure Muhammadian Islam. So I wanted to have a little bit of reflection on these words. And he received it truthfully and delivered it truthfully. بالحق أنزلناه وبالحق. When the Prophet received, he also received it truthfully. بالحق أنزل. So nothing happened between Allah and the Prophet to change this message. It came to the Prophet exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfectly. But unfortunately, when the message was delivered, when it came to people, problems started. Up to the Prophet, but when it comes to people, then you have problems. Some hear something else. Sometimes they hear it correctly, but they understand it wrongly. Sometimes they understand it correctly, but for their selfish interest, they manipulate. Exactly what the Prophet said and did and taught 14 centuries ago is not easy. It needs, first of all, sincerity. You don't want to impose your ideas on Islam. Unfortunately, nowadays, we see that some of us, if we are get access to the pure sources, where the teachings of the Prophet are saved for us. In the first place, try the best to explain everything that we are going to face, everything that we are going to need. Over 3 centuries, more than 3 centuries, they trained us, they taught us everything that we are going to face and need, so that in the gap between us and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam field. Here is where we need to refer to our ulama, to our great scholars. If someone says today that it's enough for me to have the teachings of the Prophet, and you must have had cases like this, that there are people who think that they can manage everything by themselves. They don't listen properly to the alim of the group, and they think a knowledgeable and pious scholar can give them right guidance. I'm saying pious alim because sometimes those who are not pious, they may make things, just easy for you. So, we need to have sincerity and honesty. We need to go back to pure sources, and we need to refer to ulama who are trained in the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, who have been trained. Arif Hussaini is a good example. From his childhood, he had thirst for knowledge. And he was not satisfied with studying a little bit in his village or in a town near his village, for example. His thirst for knowledge took him up to Najaf, up to Qom. Because you have to exhaust all, and the best scholarship is available in any part of the world. You should not be satisfied unless you reach there. And if by chance, for example, it's in another planet, even you have to be ready to go to that planet, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, to go to Qom and Najaf for learning. So this shaheed was so determined to learn that he didn't just study with a local alim or in a small house ideas, the same attitude as he was himself believing and thinking. So this thirst for knowledge, they don't learn for the sake of getting certificate and recognition and ijazah. Everything you learn is for the sake of implementation. Everything is. He was not a person who was thinking of having a comfortable life for himself or his family. When he was seeing that there are problems in the ummah, there are people who suffer, there are people who don't know Islam, we said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a condition with the prophets that they should not be attached to worldly life, worldly pleasure. شرطت عليهم الزهد في درجات هذه الدنيا الدنية قبلتهم وقربتهم وقدمت لهم الذكر العلي والثناء الجليل. You made a condition that they should have zuhd, they should not be attached to dunya, and they accepted this, and then you knew that they are going to keep their promise. علمت منهم الوفاء به. You knew that this Arif Hussaini is going to keep this promise for all his life. So you accept once, you promoted his name. قدمت لهم الثناء الجميل. So before he actually becomes a mature person who has done something for you, who has made some achievement, because you knew that he is going to keep this promise in future, you started supporting him in advance. Like to wait till end of the year and see the results so that I spend more time with him. Right from the beginning, I know that this person there is consistency. And this is what makes them a good example. Because you don't want to have an example that you have to delete few years of. No matter how difficult it is, the condition of life, is possible to become like Salman, to become like Ammar and Abu Dhar of this time. There is no reason why we cannot become like Salman and Abu Dhar and Ammar and Miqdad. There is no genetic problem here. There is no philosophical problem here. There is no reason why we cannot. أشد من يتم اليتيم الذي إن promise your children, you should keep your promise because they look at you as their Lord, as their Rabb. For a child, his father, his mother is Rabb. And it puts great responsibility on you when you have young children. They should see in you mercy, they should see in you love, they should see in you care. For a young child, even just if you don't and leader, may Allah give shafa to all the people who are here. May Allah, inshallah, bring peace and security and honor to all the oppressed people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the reappearance of Him for His faraj and our faraj. May Allah, inshallah, make our children, inshallah, always among the best Muslims. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Brothers and sisters, you've been enlightened by a very, very, very precious speech by. The fourth prize goes to Sister Hania Raza from Luton. The third prize goes to Murtaza Zaidi. Special salawat for the, I think, the youngest contestant in the whole Look. Second prize goes to Brother Hussain Hussaini.